Yes, they are.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. We welcome you to the Procurement Technical Assistance Center, or Ptac's, outreach this morning, featuring the 75th Civil Engineering Group. My name is Chuck Spence. I'm the director of the Ptac program, and we'd like to welcome our clients as well as others who may be joining us today. And for those who are new to Ptac or haven't heard very much about the Procurement Technical Assistance Center, I'd just like to very briefly introduce you to it and what we do. We are a business development program within the Utah Governor's Office of Economic Development, and we are also funded, and actually the program has its origins in the Department of Defense, and specifically a division with DoD called DLA, or the Defense Logistics Agency. And what Ptac does is help Utah businesses engage in government contracting. So if you are new and want to sell your products and services to the Department of Defense agencies like Dugway, like Hill Air Force Base, or other federal agencies, or for that matter, state, county, city, municipality, university, and college, as well as school districts, you'll want to engage with a Ptac regional manager. What we do is help clients with government contracting, literally from A to Z and everything in between. We help clients get the necessary registrations. For example, to do business with the federal government, you must be registered in the System for Award Management, or SAM. You must have a DUNS number, and in the next year and a half, that will be changing over to the Unique Entity Identifier. We help you find bid opportunities or solicitations through a computerized system that we have, where we build a search profile for you, and those opportunities are then emailed to you directly on a daily basis. As you find opportunities and you want to submit on a request for quote or a request for proposal, we also will assist you and help you and guide you and review your submission and everything in between, including post-award. But there is one catch, and by the way, our services are offered to you at no cost. But the catch is that you must be a Ptac client. Again, it's very easy. You just contact your regional manager. And the best way to do that is probably to email us at ptac@utah.gov, or you can go to our website and learn more about Ptac and find your regional manager for your area. And that website address is simply this, business@utah.gov/Ptac. And there you'll find everything you'll need to know about the program and which regional manager would be yours. Before I introduce Mr. Briesmaster, I would first like to thank Lori Pohl and her team who helped coordinate this outreach today. So Lori, and to your team, thank you very much for all your efforts in making this happen. Today, we have as our guest host, Mr. Harry or Buddy Briesmaster, and I'm going to read and introduce him today from his bio, and it is very impressive. Mr. Briesmaster is the director of the Air Force Materiel Command's second largest civil engineering group of 625 people. He executes $80 million budget to operate, maintain, and protect the base facilities and its environment. He is the principal advisor to the 75th for all real property management on the Air Force Materiel Command's largest base. In 1982, Mr. Briesmaster entered the Air Force as a distinguished graduate from the Virginia Military Institute's Reserve Officer Training Corps program. And a lot has happened between 1982 and 2005. So I'm going to skip a little bit just for the sake of time. In April of 2005, then Colonel Briesmaster deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom as the Facilities and Transportation Sector Lead for the Project and Contracting Office, Baghdad, Iraq. From September 2005 to January 2008, he commanded the 75th Civil Engineering Group at Hill Air Force Base. In January 2008 to September 2008, he moved up as the interim 75th Air Base Wing Vice Commander. And then in January 2009, he became the civilian director of the 75th Civil Engineering Group at Hill. So as you can see, we are most fortunate to have Buddy. He is a friend of Ptac. We have a good relationship with him. We deeply appreciate all that he has done. And you'll want to put, not to steal any thunder from Mr. Briesmaster, but I went and reviewed his slides, and what you have before you today are real live opportunities and business opportunities and solicitations for things that they are looking to procure in the next few months, as well as the next year. So take good notes. Also know that these slides will be available to you, and we will get those to you probably today and perhaps tomorrow. And also, if you have questions, Buddy has agreed to take your questions, so go ahead and either ask those orally, or you can, I think, type your questions in, and Lori will coordinate those questions to Harry. So without further ado, we turn the time now over to Harry Briesmaster. Harry?
Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate it very much. I appreciate Ptac giving me the opportunity today to be able to make this presentation. As Chuck was saying, I'm the director of the 75th Civil Engineering Group here at Hill. My president, that's my name, my telephone number, and my email address. So if you have any questions that come about after the presentation today, or if you want to know about a little bit more detail about one of the solicitations that's out there, or some of my requirements, feel free to email me at that address, and I'll promise to get back to you in regards to that issue. Again, stop me as we go along today. You can interrupt me or actually put in something in the chat if you have a question. All right, if we go to the next slide, please. So here's my organization's mission. So we deliver engineering and facility support and services to the second largest installation in the United States Air Force. It's about 1 million acres, and I joke around and say that's a lot of grass to cut, which it is. We execute multi-million-dollar projects. I've got about 625 to 650 personnel that help me operate, maintain, and protect the installation day in and day out. We do everything pretty much under the sun when it has to do with engineering. So construction, utility systems, real estate, dormitory, housing, fire. You can see the list of things there that we are responsible for. We're here within civil engineering for this particular installation out there. So it's quite an extensive list of responsibility here within CE. Go to the next slide, please. So here's my organizational structure. I have several squadrons and divisions. You can see there a little bit. So the installation from the left to the right, installation management division, they deal with my housing and environmental. And when we say asset accountability, that's real estate and financial aspects of my organization. The 75th Civil Engineering Squadron handles the day-to-day operations. So they're primarily my blue-collar workforce. So I have all sorts of technicians out there, HVAC technicians, plumbers, I've got electricians, I've got snowplow operators, I have bulldozer operators, you name it, and dealing with construction day in and day out. I have those skills and services that belong to us. In the middle there, you have the engineering division. Those are the guys that manage construction. So they're your white collar engineers that do design and construction day in and day out on the installation, anything from a small $10,000 job to multi-million-dollar construction projects. Next to that is the 775th Civil Engineering Squadron. That's primarily where my military folks reside. We do explosive ordnance disposal, fire and emergency services, and then emergency services in terms of if we had natural disasters that are out there. This is the organization that runs Emergency Operations Center, just like you would in a small town. And in the very right, which is unique to here at Hill, is the Range Support Division. They are out at the Utah Test and Training Range. I have a civil engineering organization out there, as well as a fire protection organization out there that helps operate and maintain the main acres of the Utah Test and Training Range. So that's overview structure. Next slide, please. So what do I want to do as part of my organization? I want to provide quality engineering and design services and to make them effective and efficient day in and day out to support the mission of Hill Air Force Base. Next slide. So the next multiple slides here will be requirements that my organization has that we execute through construction companies and services companies that are out there. So these are all the support services that we ask for, the community to support us execute our programs here at Hill. So we'll start off, and most of these are very similar in nature in terms of how we execute these projects that are out there. We'll start off a little more detail on the first one, and then you can kind of see a repeating pattern for the requirements as we go forward. So the first one is fencing, roofing IDIQ. So this one is, I have, probably in the neighborhood of 14 million square feet of facilities here at Hill, which of course all have nice big roofs on them. And we have to replace them, upgrade them, repair them, patch them. So in any type of roofing system that you can think of, you can see there we have built up roofs, metal roofs, membrane roofs, asphalt shingles, just about any variety of roofing type that's out there. This particular contract will be expiring this year in September, and we hope to award a follow-on contract in the October timeframe. We're estimating the contract on this particular project to be around $5 million. And everything that I do is pretty much competitively small business. It's out there. Some are 8A set-asides. You'll see some of that as we go forward. But the majority of them are full and open into the small business arena. All of my projects or services are basically a one-year basic contract with 4-year options. So we have the ability to terminate or continue to extend those requirements as we proceed from year to year to year. So that's the basic format of the requirements that you see in terms of the needs that we have here on the base every single day to keep the base operating and running. If we go to the next slide. So painting. So with the millions of square feet of facilities that I have, there's both interior and exterior painting that goes along with all those. You can see this contract expires in October of 22, so it's a little ways out, but what I'm briefing today is basically things that are currently coming available and basically on a 5-year horizon. So there may be some stuff that may be out there in the future, but you may want to, I just want to make sure everyone has the opportunity to know what's available now and in the future. This is about a $4 million contract limit. Again, this one's a competitive 8A, 5-year contract with, you can see there, the one basic and 4-year options. If I have a POC or a point of contact on each one of the slides, in this particular case, Mr. Rod Sanders can give you more detail if you have some specifics on this painting IDIQ. You see his telephone number there, or again, you can email me if you have other requirements or requests. All right, next slide, please. You can imagine on an Air Force installation, we have lots of asphalt and lots of concrete. This particular contract can support airfield operations in addition to normal base pavements, just roadways on the installation or parking lots that are on the installation, to include specialty concrete that we would use out on the airfield. Again, this is a little ways out. This contract is scheduled to expire in June of 22. Hope to award a new one by July of 22. This one has a very large contract dollar value on it, $85 million in full and open small business competition that's out there. All right, next slide, please. With all the hangars and specialty space we have on the installation, we do a lot of epoxy floor coatings under indefinite delivery and definite quantity contract to remove and replace existing flooring systems that are out there. This project was awarded back in 18 and scheduled to expire in 23, at which time we would have a follow-on contract. This one has a $5 million limit on it. Again, full and open competition. Okay, next slide, please. This one is a fencing IDIQ contract. This is to construct and replace industrial security fencing and gates around the installation, as well as out at the Utah Test and Training Range. This one expires in 2025. We just recently awarded this particular contract, so it's way out there a ways. But you can see it's got the $4 million limit, again, subject to full and open small business type competition. Okay, next slide, please. Refuse. So this would be refuse services across the installation. This is one that expires this year in March. We actually have the solicitation about ready to hit the street now. You should see this very soon. So if you're interested in trash removal on the entire installation, as well as what we call GSUs, geographically separated units, which includes the Utah Test and Training Range and Little Mountain Complex. This one you should see pop up through FedBizOps pretty much almost any day. Again, this one expires in March. We need to have a new contract awarded by the 1st of April, and it is just slightly under $5 million. We will again award a basic with 4-year options associated with this particular service needs for the installation. Okay, next slide, please. Similarly, grounds maintenance, everything to do with water sprinkler systems on the installation, to include cutting grass and some trash pickup. That's what this contract includes, the service. This contract was awarded back in 2018. It expires in October of 23. It's again close to about a $5 million contract. And you can see there, this one we focus on HUBZone on this particular one. Okay, with that, we'll go to the next contract. Elevator maintenance. So lots of elevators on the installation, both personnel elevators and freight type elevators that are out there that need to be maintained, repaired, replaced. This particular contract was awarded back in 2019. It's scheduled to expire in 2022, and it has a contract limit of around a little around $300,000. Okay, next slide, please. Oyster Cranes. So lots of industrial space on Hill Air Force Base and hangars and other things that support the depot. So we've got lots of cranes, large oversized cranes. We do operations on and maintenance and inspection and certification of these cranes annually. This contract expires in September of 22 and look to award a new one also in October of 22. It has the limit of $260,000. All right, next slide, please. Hoods and ducts and cleaning, maintenance, and repair of clearly support of commercial restaurants that we have on the installation. We have quite a few of those that provide food service. And so we as part of the real property associated with where they operate out of, have a requirement to support their ducts and hoods. This contract expires in 2024, and we hope to have a new one awarded in June of 2024. It has a right around a $300,000 contract limit. Okay, next slide, please. All right, commodity buys. So these are the things that we use day in and day out to run the installation. So anything from shop materials and tools. So it could be lumber, it could be plywood, it could be sheetrock, it could be ceiling tiles, it could be carpeting, and then everything in between. So if you think of a building, everything from door locks to doors to windows to glass, you name it, we work on it, and we have a requirement for it every single day, to include the tools, so hammers, screwdrivers, electrical tools, heavy electrical equipment. You pretty much name it to run a business and an operation. We've got to have this, so we purchase that all the time. We do our own organic snow removal, so we purchase lots of road salt and de-icer materials. I have chemicals that support boiler operations on the installation. We do culinary water treatment. I do large boiler operations and electrical and HVAC. So again, lots of commodities, large commodities that we have to buy, and we've purchased these through a variety of means. We can do them on a government purchase card. We do blanket purchase agreements. We work through GSA contractors and vendors that are out there to purchase these day-to-day needs. And we generally budget about $7 to $8 million annually to support these types of materials that we have out there. Okay. All right, next slide, please. So this is SABRE. It's an acronym that we use for Simplified Acquisition-Based Engineering Requirements. So to do large construction projects on Hill Air Force Base, we have two primary means to get that done. SABRE is one of those mechanisms, tools, acquisition tools that we use. So they do all the primary major construction, maintenance, and repair. You can see there we have currently 3 contractors. Those are the names of the 3 existing contractors. And this contract is going to expire this year, here in September. We are currently soliciting for a new contract. That RFP is out on the street. If not today, it's been out there, released just recently, and will be out there for a while. So if you're very interested in doing construction on Hill Air Force Base, this is a mechanism that you would need in order to get your foot in the door, so to speak, to deal with construction on the base. I would say, 60% or more of the large construction projects that we do on the base is executed through SABRE. Right now, the estimated contract limit is about $265 million for this small business contract, and it is on a 5-year basis. Again, we have a basic, and it has a 6-month option associated with this particular one. Because it's an acquisition, if you have a specific question on SABRE, the contracting POC is there, Mr. Brady Smith. I don't have an email for him, but if you need to get a hold of someone regarding this particular contract, want more details, just get a hold of me and I will pass you on to Mr. Brady Smith, and he will give you the details associated with this particular contract. But SABRE is a acquisition tool I use daily to support lots of large construction projects. Normally, when we say large, it's anything above $50,000 to $1 million in nature. Single discipline. We have some multi-discipline requirements, but generally if it just requires an HVAC or an electrical or civil type acquisition or project need, that's generally who we go with for SABRE, but it can include multiple disciplines. This is typically awarded to a minimum of 3, and we could go up higher if we choose to do so through this acquisition process. So now is your time. If you want to get on Hill Air Force Base and do large construction projects with lots of opportunity, SABRE is the way to go. All right.
Mr. Briesmaster, this is Laurie.
Yes, Laurie.
Chuck has a question. He says, the acquisition says small business full and opened. For clarification, will those be small business set-asides or are they full and open?
For SABRE, I believe it's full and open.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure. All right, thank you. All right, next page, please. This one's MAC. This is what we call the multiple award construction contract. Similar to SABRE in nature, they do lots of large construction and repair projects on the base, but this is a design build contract. So where SABRE doesn't requires a 30% design or less, where we require a full design, we will go to the MAC contract out there. This particular contract also expires this year, and the RFP has already been out on the street, and we have already started receiving solicitation bids for this contract at this point in time. So just be aware that that's the case out there. You can see the 6 current contractors that we have. We will again award multiple contracts to multiple vendors under this particular contract this year. It could be as a minimum of 6. It could go higher, or we could go less if necessary. It just depends on the qualifications and the credentials associated with these contractors that bid on this particular effort. But here, and again, here's your next opportunity. If you like large construction, want to get your ability to get on Hill Air Force Base to do construction type work, MAC is your other ability to be able to do this. So I would say 90 to 95% of the large construction projects that I have on Hill are executed either through Sabre or MAC. If you don't want to be a prime, that's fine. If you have a specialty niche that you think is something that we could use in terms of services, this is where you partner with one of these other larger construction companies that are out there and become either a subcontractor or a specialty vendor to them for work done at Hill Air Force Base. So there's, instead of just being the prime, multiple opportunities to become subcontractors as well. If you want to just be the electrical sub or the HVAC sub, they're always looking to partner with other companies that are out there to provide those services. You can see the budget on this one. We've increased it substantially from the previous one. It's up to $385 million. I will tell you the workload and growth on Hill Air Force Base is going to be extensive over the next 5 to 10 years. Hill is a continuously growing installation. One of the areas of large growth is the what we call GBSD, Ground-Based Strategic Deterrent Program. It is the replacement weapon system for the Minuteman III, and it is going to be it's an extremely multi-billion-dollar replacement effort weapon system for intercontinental ballistic missiles. So lots of work on Hill Air Force Base to support that program as we go forward. In addition to a lot of the current workload that we already have on Hill Air Force Base. So we're not going away anytime soon, hopefully never. And if you're into construction, this is the time to get on board to support us here at Hill Air Force Base. All right.
Okay, this is Laurie again.
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt. Just to confirm, they're asking that there are subcontracting opportunities under Sabre as well as MAC. Is that correct?
That is correct. Absolutely.
Great. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. All right. And then just before we get off of MAC, you can see there the contracting POC is Emily McCollum. Again, if you need to speak with her, just send me an email and I will get you her email address and you can speak with her directly regarding the MAC award. Okay. With that, next page, please. All right, many of you may have heard of the Air Force Civil Engineering Center in San Antonio, Texas. So as we conduct work through the civil engineering community across the Air Force, AFC does a lot of that from a centralized enterprise perspective. And so you can see the list there of services that AFCAC provides and supports Hill Air Force Base through. So anything from environmental compliance to restoration. They do some design services and construction services for me, but they're primarily responsible for our housing privatization, our utilities privatization program, as well as our energy performance savings contracts. So we execute work through AFCAC for those services that you see there listed on that particular slide. We do not do any of this locally. It's all done through AFCAC. So if you see a solicitation that's out there, it's generally they have gone to the Corps of Engineers to help us execute that for our enterprise requirements. Okay. With that, we'll go to the next slide. All right, this is the Corps of Engineers. So the Corps of Engineers Sacramento District is my design and construction agent for the military construction program for the Air Force. So for our large, extremely large military construction projects, we execute those through the Corps of Engineers. I will just tell you there is a lot of MILCON on the horizon to the magnitude of probably $400 million worth of work programmed over the next 5 years. We have, like I said, GBSD, large growth there. F-35 depot maintenance, large hangars, large construction project to support that effort as well. The Air Force T-7 depot maintenance operations are going to come here to Hill Air Force Base. Again, we're talking $100 million to $200 million worth of construction just in those programs alone over the course of the next 3 to 5 years. So if you are interested in MILCON level projects, just understand on the horizon there is significant amount of growth to support those acquisition programs as we go forward. So we are extremely busy as we prepare the documentation for these programs. All has to be congressionally approved, so we're in the process of getting that accomplished now, and then the solicitations for these projects will occur in 22, 23, 24 timeframe that are out there for large construction projects. So, and then of course with those programs will come day-to-day services, like I said, that we execute through Sabre and MAC once these large MILCON projects are in place. So again, lots of opportunity on the horizon. All right, and then the next slide, please. It's kind of the end of my presentation. I know that was fast. Today, again, just a repeat of my contact information there, name, telephone number, and email address. That's what we deal with here in civil engineering day in and day out at Hill Air Force Base to support the bigger overall Air Force mission. We do a lot of unique things here at Hill that don't happen at the rest of the world or across the country anywhere else. And so those opportunities are rather unique and different that's out there. With that, does anybody else have any questions, or is there something in the chat that I can address? All right. I am hearing none out there. So I will not delay this any further unless somebody has a last minute question or can think of something. I won't take up any additional of your time. I appreciate the opportunity to come today and tell you a little bit about what we do here on Hill Air Force Base to support the construction side of what we do. Again, if you have something you think about as you're going through this presentation later on, or have some specific question you want to ask outside this forum, again, please feel free to email me or call me, and I would love to chat with you. With that, I will turn it back over to you, Chuck, Lori.
Thank you. Thank you, Harry. Before we conclude, clients and others, attendees, this is your opportunity to ask him about any of those slides and those opportunities in the construction or Sabre or other area. Do we have any questions for Mr. Briesmaster? Lori, did anyone type in the chat box any questions?
Nope, I asked him and he answered them all. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, well, Harry, that's a job well done. You were so thorough. You answered everyone's questions. So we thank you. This is exactly, we get feedback from our clients, and this is what most of the time they ask for is, can we have presentations and outreaches where there are real opportunities for our clients and the small businesses in Utah. So this was just tremendous. So thank you for that. Again, to all attendees, we will get the slide presentation out to you this afternoon or tomorrow. Lori, Paul, I'm going to kind of put you on the spot here. Mr. Briesmaster talked a little bit about the ground-based strategic deterrent project and all that entails, and it sounds like it's going to be in the Harry, is it safe to say the hundreds of millions on that?
It's in the billions.
In the billions.
It's in the billions. The last program number I saw for the weapon system totally, and the construction and the development and the execution and delivery of that system was about $90 billion.
So, and I believe that Northrop Grumman Corporation won that award, correct?
Correct, absolutely right. So if you're familiar with Hill Air Force Base and the museum area north in the Roy area, we have, through our enhanced use lease program, EUL, maybe some people are familiar with the Falcon Hill EUL program. It's called the Roy Innovation Center. So we're in the process of building 4 large facilities for Northrop Grumman that are up there to have them be the support contractor for GBSD. So there's opportunities there as well. I didn't mention EUL today. So the enhanced use lease program is another means in which we offer growth at Hill Air Force Base through a partner, Sunset Ridge Development. Partners are out there for construction. So they're always looking for opportunities to have subcontractors on that are out there as well. It is associated with the Hill, with the base, but none of that contracting is done through the base itself. It's all done through that EOL mechanism that's out there. But there's another opportunity there if you're interested. We can talk about EOL if someone wants to know that. Just again, send me some information or email me there. Call me.
Thank you, Mr. Briesmaster. Lori, I think my point. Oh, we do have a question here. Laurie, do you want to handle that or ask it?
It says, who is the developer for the EUL program?
All right, so it's Sunset Ridge Development, which is a partnership between Hunt out of San Antonio, Texas, and Woodbury here locally through Utah. So those 2 organizations partnered, and they provide that services to us. So get a hold of Woodbury Corporation, or if you want a Hill point of contact, Mr. Brett Christensen runs the EUL program here at Hill Air Force Base. If you're interested in that, just again, send me an email, and I will email you his contact information if you are interested there.
Thank you.
Certainly.
So, Lori, Paul, I know you have reached out to Northrop, and for the attendees, what we're trying to do is schedule an outreach with Northrop because of this GBSD initiative and the award, and I've got to think that they are going to need many subcontractors for that award. Laura, do you have any more updates on that? And if not, maybe you and I could reach out to them again and impress upon them the demand from the small business community in Utah to see if we could have and sponsor an outreach. Do you have any more information on that, Lori?
I don't have anything more than what I shared with you previously, but by all means, we can engage with Northrop and try and get them to come and do an outreach event for the Utah small businesses.
Yes, super. So to our attendees, and please know that we are working on that. We have contacted them. They have not committed as of yet, but we pressure is not a good word, but strongly encourage them to have an outreach for our Ptac clients, because obviously, as Mr. Briesmaster pointed out, this is a multi-billion-dollar project, and certainly there's got to be some subcontracting opportunities with Northrop. So we will continue to follow up, and as soon as we can get any type of a commitment, we will and we will get that scheduled out. Before we conclude today, let me just bring to your attention, especially the clients today who are, again, in the construction-related industries. They're the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the Sacramento district. They are holding a virtual business opportunities open house on Thursday, February 18th at 9 a.m. to about noon. And I believe that is the Pacific Coast time or Pacific Standard Time. This is going to be a virtual event, and this is an opportunity for you to share your firm's capabilities and learn about projected work in the Sacramento district district for 2021, which I believe Utah is part of that district. To RSVP, you have to do that by February 11th. But again, the open house is on February 18th. And your Ptac regional managers, if they haven't already, they will be sending out that invitation to you. So if you want to participate in that, look for that email and then go in and RSVP for that. So without further ado, we'll let you go. Again, Mr. Briesmaster, thank you for your time. Thank you for your presentation. It was well done. And Lori, I think we have one more question from Tom Gerke here.
I do. It said, Mr. Briesmaster address any DFARS cybersecurity requirements on these contracts?
There are no cybersecurity per se requirements. That's typically done after the construction project is completed and they work through the IT systems that are out there. We do have secure spaces that are in these facilities that we will be constructing, but the actual computer systems and so forth are after we do the construction, that those systems come in, that those criteria is primarily applicable for that's out there. And just to piggyback on what you were saying, Chuck, was that yes, the Sacramento District Corps of Engineers is my construction and design agent. So that's who I use here at Hill for all of my MILCON construction. Just to give you some examples, GBSD, I have 4 almost $100 million each MILCON projects scheduled for each year for the next 4 years, just in the GBSD arena. Like I said, F-35, I have $300 million, some $150 million projects. I mean, these are of the magnitude that are pretty rare. Most MILCONs, range generally under 50 million. When you're in the 100 to 150 million dollar range, that's pretty significant. And of course, with that, they're going to need lots of construction contractors, subcontractors on these particular construction projects. So there are opportunities for sure. If the people that are listening online right now become subcontractors to those the prime construction projects that are out there. So yes, I would take that advantage of what the Corps is offering, because it's just more than just Hill. They do all the other military installations here in Utah and other districts throughout the country.
Thank you. Lori, I think we had a comment from Alex.
We do. It says, I believe Tom wanted to address the CMMC, which is a DoD key push.
Okay, well, the CMCC is a command and control operation facility for the Utah Test and Training Range. It is, again, it'll have some secure aspects associated with it, but the equipment that's going to go in to the facility is what the Utah Test and Training Range Squadron would operate to get certifications that are out there. So though it's got secure spaces, we design it and construct it to those secure space criteria, but the actual equipment that's going to run the radar systems and the communication systems and so forth is installed afterwards.
Mr. Briesmaster, Chuck here. I think the acronym CMMC is the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certificate.
Right.
Is there anything at Hill Air Force Base that is going to require that CMMC certificate?
Oh yes, it will. Oh yeah, on the communication side of the business, as we conduct business around here, yes, there will be a requirement for that.
Okay. All right, Laurie, any other questions in the chat?
I don't see any, Chuck.
All right. Okay, we'll conclude today's outreach. Again, thank you for your attendance, and we'll get these slides to you very soon. Again, Mr. Briesmaster, thank you so much for participating. It's always a pleasure to work with the 75th and yourself, and we sure appreciate your support for Ptac. All right, everyone, make it a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.